All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free 800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. And our main website where you can listen to the X Zone 724, 365, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Christine Hamlett. She is a medium and psychic artist who has been on screen in the television show Rescue Mediums for several seasons. Her artwork has been featured regularly in the show as she draws images of the spirit that she is in contact with. Rescue Mediums is a highly emotional experience and involves assisting a spirit that, for whatever reason, has become trapped on the earth to cross over to the light and be in peace. Many of these spirits are troubled and, in some cases, may not even realize that they are no longer alive. Christine's website is www.christinehamlett.com. And joining me now from Chester in the United Kingdom is Christine Hamlett. And Christine, welcome to the X Zone.
Hi, thank you.
Great pleasure talking to you. Tell us a little bit about your story, Christine. I want to find out what it was or when it was that Christine Hamlett found out that she had the ability to help spirits.
Well, I've been mediumistic all my life, so it since being a child. But it wasn't until I was older in my 30s that I realised that it was rescue work that I was going to do.
Now, when you say rescue work, how do you do your rescue work as a spirit medium?
Well, I know it sounds a little bit corny, but there is a light that we all go into, and it's a case of helping the spirit to deal with why they don't want to go in that light, talking to them about it, telling their story, and then encouraging them to go into the light.
All right, their story. So how was it you first discovered that you, Christine Hamlett, could actually help these spirits? And what was it like the very first time that you did?
Well, I was called into a vicarage in a place called Leicestershire to do an investigation because they had things going on there, haunting. And through the investigation, speaking to the spirit, realised that the spirit had not gone into the light and was in a way trapped. And basically just used the knowledge that I have and helped that spirit through, and then realised that was the first rescue job that I ever did.
Now, how do these spirits communicate with you? Is it verbally? Do you get the impression? Are you clairaudient?
All of that. All of that.
Wow.
It can be verbally. It can be mental images, signs, feelings, all those things.
And what do your friends and family think about the work you do?
Oh, some of them are okay with it. Some of my family are also this way, and I suppose there's other ones that think I'm maybe a bit nutty. I don't know. So some of them take it, okay, and others not so okay.
Right. When you see a spirit, do you see them as they were in a specific part of their life, or do you see them at what they looked like when they passed to the other side? If they were in an accident, do you see them all mangled up?
I have seen injuries. Yes, I have. It depends on what they want to say to you, what part they're showing to you. I've seen full manifestations, and I've seen them also in my mind's eye. It all depends on their story, what they want to say. I mean, as in murder victims or cold cases, things like that, it can get a little bit gruesome sometimes what you're seeing mentally. But it's only them showing you what happened.
Tell me about the most bizarre spirit rescue that you've done.
Oh, good grief! That was in Wales, England, and that was a man who'd been really, really nasty when he was on the earth plane. Wasn't a very nice person at all. He'd hurt people, and he was refusing to go through. I was working with someone else at the time, and he actually took over her body and spat at me and everything. It was horrible. It was really bad.
Now, what does your psychic artwork have to do with the work you do?
Well, ever since being a little girl, I've drawn faces. It's never anything else, just faces. And I never realised why I was doing this until I started developing as a medium. And then these faces, I realised I was seeing in the third eye, my middle eye.
Right.
And so I started to try to tune into that. And when I was working, dealing with the spirit, then I would see them there and sketch them. I've got like a little studio now, I suppose, in my mind that I see them in, and I just sketch whoever comes there.
So when
it helps because I can show people who I'm seeing or what I'm seeing, because it's not just faces now. I can do scenes, houses, all that kind of thing, what I'm seeing.
So are you finding that your artistic ability to work with the rescue of spirits is developing, is expanding?
It is, because I've been working on several cold cases, and I've had some success with the psychic artwork there.
Right.
So I'm using it in all different ways, really. I use it, like I say, to show people who I'm talking to. Use it to bring through sketches of people's loved ones from the spirit world who they recognise. And I use it in helping with missing people, etc.
Tell me about the TV show Rescue Mediums.
It's great. I really, really enjoyed doing that show, and I love Canada. It's like my second home. It was a very, very exciting time, and we used to just go into people's houses where they'd got problems, and every single story was different, every single one. And we used to just, if there was a spirit there that needed rescuing, then we'd do it.
How would the people react who were seeking the services of the rescue mediums to the work that you did?
Sometimes we'd go into the home and there'd be like all these things going on, but people, sometimes maybe one member of the family was a bit sceptical about what it was. And amazingly enough, by the end of the show, they've been less sceptical. Some people have cried. They've just felt the emotion. They've felt relief. They've thanked us because, they've got their home back and it feels good once again. So all different emotions, really.
I guess
Never had a negative.
I'm sorry?
Never had a negative sort of, outcome.
Well, that is good.
It was. Because, I suppose, we did expect that maybe that might happen, but it just didn't. It never did.
I find it amazing when I speak to people like yourself who are mediums and who have dealt with this phenomenon for years, that many times the spirit doesn't know they're dead.
Yes, that happens. That happens quite a bit, actually, because it depends on the circumstances of the death. If it's an instant sort of death, it's as much a shock to the spirit,
really,
as it is to the people who've lost that person. And sometimes they they hang around near to the earth plane because, like you say, they're not realising that they're dead, they're not accepting that. There was a lot of cases where First World War soldiers, where they were sort of sudden deaths there. I've read lots of stories about where they didn't realise they were dead.
So how do you, in your work, get or have a spirit realize that they're dead, number one? Number two, that they have to or they should move to the light? How do you get them to transition?
Just talking to them, you have to be gentle. You have to convince them. You have to talk to them. I have a guide in the spirit world whose name's Lonnie, and she helps a lot. They will, because people from the spirit will be coming through to try and help them to go through, but they sort of tend to ignore them as well. But we have to just convince them that this is right for them, that people are not responding to them on the earth plane because they don't see them, they don't hear them, and that the people in the light will hear them. They're their loved ones, they'll be there for them. And it's just a case of coaxing and convincing them until they realise.
Do they have any concept of time?
No, they don't seem to. From what spirits say, there is no time in spirit, and it's a man-made thing, and I don't think they do have much concept of time, because you've got like the historical hauntings from hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Sometimes spirit are still, hanging around the earth plane.
Right.
So I don't think they do, no.
Have you ever had a spirit who did not want to cross over? And if so, how do you convince them?
Yes, I've had spirits that don't want to cross over. I can't convince them. If they don't want to go, then they don't go. But if they're causing a problem, say, in someone's home, then they will get told, that there will be spirit coming through from the spirit realms who will prevent them from causing too much upset to the people still on the earth plane. I can't make them go.
No way.
No one can yet. It's free will. You have to do it yourself. I try to convince them, but it doesn't always work.
How do you must at times find it very draining on you.
It is. It's absolutely exhausting. Rescue work is the most exhausting thing to do.
So how do you?
It's emotional. It's physically draining. It's really rewarding, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Very draining.
So how do you prepare yourself when you know that you're going to go to a location where there is a spirit, and this spirit you're going to do everything you can to get their spirit to go to the light? How do you prepare yourself? Meditation.
Yeah, I do a lot of meditation, speak to my guide the day before, just preparing yourself, mentally preparing yourself, to raise your vibrations so that you can be in contact with the spirit there. And it's just a case of meditating and listening to what my guide says.
Let's say you go into a building where people believe there is a spirit, and you're in there, and you, with your gift, are able to, beyond a shadow of a doubt, realize that, yes, there is a spirit. Now, does this spirit make contact with you?
Yes.
And how does the contact usually facilitate? How does it happen?
Well, I would send my thoughts out to asking basically at first if there was a spirit there that needed my help, please make yourself known to me. Also, my guide would be there seeing if she can help as well. They make themselves known to me. They would either touch me, they can touch you by just tapping you. They would show me their face in my mind's eye. They'd speak to me, or sometimes I've actually seen them.
Really?
Full manifestations are not common. I've only ever seen maybe 2, 3 at the most in my life, but they're solid. You know, they look like me and you. Except the only one thing I find different is their eyes. The eyes just don't quite look right.
The eyes don't look quite right.
No, they look not alive. The eyes. That's my interpretation of it. I mean, I don't think it's meant. It's just the way they look. I can tell that is a spirit, not a solid real person.
So how do they approach you? Are they indignant? Are they happy that you're able to communicate with them, that you see them, that you're not ignoring them?
Yeah, I've had lots and lots of different feelings coming from them. You know, joy, relief, anger, all these things. Downright not wanting to speak to you at all. All different kinds. It depends on the individual spirit, because we obviously, when we pass over, we take our personality, our memories, and all that side of us with us. All different ways.
Have you come across a lot of children that have needed to be helped to the other side? And is it easier for you as a rescue medium to work with a child than it is with if you'll excuse the expression, a grown-up?
Have come across children, not very often, but one particular story sticks to mind where it was in the 1920s. There's a little boy who had some severe difficulties.
Right.
He had Down syndrome.
Oh no!
And it was at a time where his parents weren't not understanding about it. And he was put in a cupboard.
Oh, jeez.
It wasn't very nice, but he was hanging around there because of the emotions of it all. In the end, we managed to get his grandfather to coax him through into the light, and it was incredibly emotional. Everybody in the house, we were all sobbing, but it was a good feeling in the end,
Right.
But it's never easy working with children that way because of the emotion, because of the tragedy of it.
When a person crosses over, whether it be a child or whether it be an adult, what do you see? Do you see the light? Are there angels? Are there others who are ready to greet the lost soul as if they're finally coming home?
Yeah, it's to what I see personally is an extremely bright light. Doesn't hurt your eyes or anything like that, but it's just this beautiful white light. But when it comes, it has a feeling with it that is really calming, really nice. I have seen spirits stood in the light, waiting for people to go through. It's just a really nice feeling.
Does it matter what a person's religious beliefs are on this side when it comes to crossing over? On the other side, are they all one compared to the splintered different religious philosophies that are on this side?
Well, we've had difficulties that way with people of different religions. Sometimes that's the reason why they haven't gone through into the light.
Wow.
Because of what they've been taught would happen when they die. But yes, everybody goes through into the light, but there are several planes in the spirit world. And from what I can gather from spirit, you go on a plane where it's the most likely to you and to your mind and to how much you've developed in the earth plane.
Christine, is there a difference between a spirit and a ghost, or are they one and the same?
I call them spirit. To me, they're spirit. I don't see it. I don't feel there's a difference. No. There is the historical hauntings that I've told you about. Though I mean, that I think they're like like a videotape playing in the ether.
Yes.
And sometimes, if there's been a tragic event, it plays over and over. And I think that's what historical hauntings are.
What about these hauntings that we read about where I'm just going to use this as an example, where a castle is haunted and there is a reoccurring apparition that is seen, and this apparition's appearance can be timed to the minute.
To me, that happens because something happened at that particular time.
I see.
And like I said a minute ago, it can replay in the air, or it can actually be a spirit coming back at that time. But sometimes it's to get a story across, to show what it is they're trying to say.
When you're dealing with spirits, a question comes to mind: where does reincarnation play in the entire scenario of sending someone to the light?
Reincarnation.
Yes.
Well, I do believe in reincarnation, actually. But we do. I mean, to me, the spirit world is home. This here is where we come to learn different things, and we go back home. So it's coming back through the light. Yeah, reincarnation.
Gotcha.
You still go back into the light.
And then it starts all over again.
If you wanted to. If you wanted to. You don't have to reincarnate.
I've often wondered, I've spoken to people who claim to have been reincarnated anywhere from 3-4 times to multiple times. And I guess my question to you, since you deal with those on the other side who've come back and go back, why do we continuously, or why do some souls continuously want to go and come back?
Because we have things to learn to enable you to move up on the planes in the spirit world. You have to be of a certain consciousness. The only way you can be of that consciousness is to learn. And you come back and learn. And some people need to learn more than other people.
So this is our classroom.
This is school, yeah.
But what is the ultimate goal? You go to school.
If I knew the answer to that, I don't. I think it's to be as enlightened as you can. And then maybe we would know, what the universe, what we're here for, what everything's about. If you're not evolved enough, I don't think you'd understand the meaning of it all. I think we need to get to a point where we would understand what was being said to us about the universe and about why we're here.
Undoubtedly, we live in very trying times, violent times. If a person who is violent in this lifetime passes on through either his own hand or at the hand of others, is there any retribution on the other side for this person?
Yes. It's not, to me, I'm just speaking personally.
Sure, I understand
what
that.
I've learned over the years, what Spirit said to me and my experiences. To me, it's not a hell.
Right.
But it is, you do have to face your own conscience. You have to face that. And I do, from what I've been told by Spirit as well, you do go through what you've done on the earth plane. Your life. And you are held accountable for any wrongs that you've done. And you will go on a plane, on a spirit plane, with people who are like yourself until you can learn to be different. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so basically we go back to school and we're given basically a detention, and we're retaught, and we're shown the errors of our ways.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
There are, to me, being out of the light would be like being a really bad thing. And I think people who are, bad, who've committed really bad things, they would be out of the light. They would be in a sort of dark state of mind. And that's, must be an awful place to be.
I imagine
but
it would be.
that's their doing,
Can spirits harm a human? Can they manifest in a certain material way where they can hurt someone?
I haven't personally come across any physical harm myself, other than I think they can, mentally harm you by getting inside your head sometimes if you get in contact with the wrong type of spirit, yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
That's why I have my guide, because she's like my doorkeeper.
Oh, I
stops
see.
that happening.
I see. So is your guide a spirit?
Yes.
And does your guide reincarnate, or is her job to help those on this side help others through the light?
Yeah. Your guide is with you from birth, and these spirits give up their time to help people like me or everyone. Well, everyone has a guide, actually.
Right.
So they give up their time. But obviously, when I go to the spirit world, then they're released from that. And if she wanted to reincarnate or guide someone else, then that would be entirely up to her.
Do your guides, or does your guide work with angels?
I think, what sense do you mean? Do you mean biblical angels, or do you mean spirits of a more enlightened nature, higher, light beings?
Now you've just asked me a question that I'm saying to myself, aha. All right. What's the difference between the biblical angel and the spiritual, higher planed spirit that we can call an angel?
I haven't come across biblical angels,
Okay.
with the wings
Yeah.
and all that, but I have come across, I don't know, that they sort of beings, white light beings, who are really well advanced and who can really help people and are very wise, and I've come across that, but I haven't come across a biblical sort of angel with wings. I'm not saying they're not there. I mean, I do believe in angels, but I'm just saying I haven't experienced that.
Gotcha. I've got you. You and I have to take a short break here, Christine. It's a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Very interesting. Exonation, my guest this hour is Christine Hamlett, and she is a rescue medium. Her website is www.christinehamlett.com, and that's CHRISTINEHAMM. No, I'm sorry, HAMLET. T, right? 2 T's.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 M, 2 T's.
There you go. There you go. We'll be back on the other side of the short break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone, and you're listening to us live and around the world on the Starcom Radio Network and the X Zone Broadcast Network. Don't go away. Good real estate websites are not just about showing listings, but offering visitors valuable information about neighborhoods, market statistics, tips, and personal insights. Luckily, you will find that on Roost, but you won't on many other real estate websites in Budapest. That's why we created Roost. Roost is a website with tailored results for the foreign investor, curated by Hungarian-loving expats who found their home abroad and decided to roost in Budapest. Let Roost help you get started on the right foot. Whether you intend to live, work, play, retire, or simply invest abroad, Roost offers all types of properties in Budapest, from affordable studios to luxury homes. From neighborhood insights like where to grab a great coffee or how to buy property, our team of local experts can answer your questions and speak to the direct concerns of a foreign investor. Buying foreign property is an exciting and complex adventure. It can also be very time-consuming and costly if you don't have the best information and resources at hand. Roost provides professional real estate services and assistance to an international clientele of foreign property investors and rental apartment owners in Budapest. For more information on Roost, visit their website at www.roost.co. That's www.rooste.co. Jeff Gilson didn't go out looking for adventure, danger, or the answers to most of the controversial political intrigues of the past 30 years. But he found all three when he began investigating the mysterious death of his close friend, Margaret Thatcher's favorite speechwriter. Just an ordinary guy living in a small, sleepy suburb 20 miles outside of London, Jeff's questions provoked a powerful response on both sides of the Atlantic. He was shot at, warned off by the CIA, and formed a close bond with one of Israel's most notorious intelligence officers. Relive Jeff's gripping adventure in his fast-paced book, Maggie's Hammer. Peel away the layers of establishment deception and discover, as Jeff did, that his friend was an assassin with British intelligence, that Great Britain has been America's secret hitman for the past 30 years, and that Princess Diana was not the target in that Parisian tunnel. All of this and more when you visit www.maggieshammer.com and find the link to buying this explosive book online. More and more ordinary people feel they no longer have control of their lives. Jeff fought back. He asked the difficult questions. He set out to redesign his own destiny, and you can do the same using Maggie's Hammer as your guide. Don't waste a moment. Buy it today. Visit www.maggieshammer.com. Call him Reef. Reef is your host. Reef is your guide. Are you happy? Happiness is like trying to find water in the desert. Can you find any? Sometimes, sure, but only a few drops. God is an ocean of joy, but God is not cheap. You cannot find God in a chemical. You must attract God's attention. How? Not by living to please your senses. That is false ego. The Matrix is not real. It is a computer-enhanced hallucination. You are spirit soul, not the body. We have forgotten how splendid our home really is, the spiritual sky. For more information, visit rishasongofblue.com. That's www.reessongofblue.com.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge, breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
Hi, this is Eric Rawls of Cosmoverse.com, and you're listening to Rob McConnell in the X-Zone.
Hi, this is Blade Runner, and you are listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X-Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Hi, I'm Laura Sabrin of Feast to Fields Organic Vineyard in Jordan, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X-Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Hi, my name is Lady Ashley, the White Witch of Niagara-on-the-Lake, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal talk radio show, The X-Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Christine Hamlett is my special guest. Her website is christinehamlett.com, and she is a rescue medium. And Christine, thanks very much for joining us. And
Welcome.
When people today, because of all the information that is available on the internet, and It seems that there are people who just want to become ghost hunters for the thrill of it.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Being a professional, spirit rescue person who wants to help this, I would imagine, very confused spirit understand what is going on and get them to the light, and then you've got these other people who basically try to hunt them down.
I've been on some ghost hunts because I've been asked as a guest. I don't go on them at all anymore because of what you're saying now.
Right.
Some people, they don't just go hunting the ghost. They have a medium with them there to help if it's needed. But there are some groups that don't do that. I mean, I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, it's better if you've got somebody professional who knows what they're doing to help that spirit with you. Other than that, really, it's just, say like, you came across a spirit when you were in a ghost hunt, and that spirit did need help, and that spirit was asking for help, and you can't do anything about it because you don't know how to help them. To me, that's all, I would feel bad about that. So, but I don't really have anything to do with ghost hunts and such, because I do think you do need to see why the spirits there, what they've got to say, what their story is, and why they're haunting.
I've talked to a number of so-called ghost hunters, and the one thing that irks me the most about the majority, not them all, is that they show no respect for the spirits.
Absolutely, you are spot on there, and that is one of the main reasons why I don't have anything to do with ghost hunts like that, because I do find that some people, they've got like a Ouija board there, and they're shouting abuse at the spirits, they're swearing, they're saying, "Oh, come on then, show yourself," and all this, do this. That's not right. You treat people with respect, and after all, these spirits were people. They're the spirits of people, and they deserve respect.
I agree with you 100%.
I don't like that. I honestly really don't.
Nor do I. And there are so many so-called reality TV shows out there that this is
I know.
This is what the producers and the viewers want to see, and it just boggles my mind that so many people cannot understand that they're being disrespectful, and it's as if they want to provoke a negative result.
It's all about how scared can we get you? How scary can we make this? Because that's what, a lot of people want. They want to see the scary side of it.
But the funny part is, or I shouldn't say the funny part, forgive me. The sad part is they never do. All they see is a bunch of very good editing, special effects, green screen effects, and people who are acting. Yeah.
I know what you mean. I really, really do. I've seen that myself. But I suppose, that's what people want sometimes, and that's what's going to happen.
But what does that tell us about society and how we have respect for one another? Whether those of us who are still alive or on this plane, and about those who go on the other side. Like I've talked to many nurses who work in the wards, the palliative wards. And at a time of passing, these nurses and these doctors feel as if they're very privileged that they are part of this person's transition. And they tell me stories about how the person who is making the transition smiles and looks around and identifies family members who have passed, who have come to help with the transition. And it just upsets me to the point where you've got these professionals who are doing everything in their power to make the transition and to treat the person with as much dignity and respect on this side. And then you've got the yahoos on TV who are going around like a bunch of drunken Kentucky people with booze in the back of their truck.
Well, I was there when my stepfather died, and I watched him. I actually watched his spirit come out of his body. And for days before he passed, there were spirit people all around his bed that he knew. He was smiling at them. You know, he spoke to them. And I know exactly what you mean about, you know, trying to make it as peaceful and as nice as you possibly can. And then, you get these people going around shouting abuse and trying to get a reaction and being totally disrespectful. I don't agree with that at all.
Christine, why is it, in your opinion, and a person, you're a person who has dealt with this for a number of years, why do you think there is so much interest today in ghosts, in spirits, and the hereafter?
Well, one of the big reasons is because we're all going to end up there, aren't we, one day?
Yes.
We're all going to die, you know? And a lot of people now are wanting to know what happens, you know? Some people will always think that when you die, and that's it, you're dead. There are other people who feel like me, who know that there is something else. And it just seems that that's the way it is now. People want to know more. They're not just happy being told that, oh, yeah, you're going to go to heaven or the Summerlands or whatever you want to call it. They want to know what it's all about and what it's like and what happens. And I don't know why the interest is at the moment, but I'm glad it is, because I think more people are finding out what is going to happen when we pass over.
I'm glad that you are out there doing what you're doing, because you are, in my opinion, doing your best to maintain the respect of the spirits that they deserve. And God bless you for that.
Thank you. I do try, because the thing is, it's like I said before, you're still dealing with a person.
Right.
And I'm not going to go up to a person in the street and be disrespectful to them for no reason.
Yeah.
You know, I would treat them with respect. Like, I'm the same with the spirit. If I come across a spirit that is abusive to me, then I will ask them, you know, not to be that way and get my guide to remove them. But you should treat people with respect, and spirits are people who just haven't got their body anymore.
Where do you find spirits hang out the most? In graveyards?
Everywhere and
pubs?
anywhere.
Why would a ghost? Why would a spirit remain or want to stay in a graveyard? This has always boggled my imagination.
You know what? That puzzles me quite a bit as well.
Okay.
The only reason I can think of is that they are sort of still in a state of mind of that they've passed, and that their body is there, and they're still sort of hankering after that side of things, where, you know, they know that their remains are lying there, and they find it difficult to come away from that. So sometimes, even in graveyards, you have to talk spirit into leaving the physical body.
Really?
Alone, you know, leaving it behind.
Because, once again, these ghost tours, these haunt walks, whatever they want to call them, ghost walks, they bring people into graveyards, which, in my opinion,
that's all the scary element of it, though, isn't it? You know, walking through a graveyard at night, even if you don't see a spirit, is a pretty spooky thing to do.
I agree. The effect is there. However, once again, in my way of believing things, that a cemetery is a hallowed ground.
Yeah.
And that by going there looking for spirits or looking for ghosts, or even going for, you know, especially if you're going there for a cheap thrill, that is disrespectful.
Yeah. The thing is, people will always do that, though, won't they? No matter what you say, you know, some people are out there they like the thrill of being scared, and that's what they want to do. And I suppose that's just different folks.
Different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely.
You mentioned Ouija boards a few minutes ago. What do you think about Ouija boards?
I haven't got anything against them if they're used properly. They're not a party game. You can get in touch with negative spirits. And then if you're not qualified to deal with that, you're in trouble.
Mm.
You know, I've many cases of where young people have messed about with the Ouija board and things are going wrong, that house is haunted, had to go in there, sort the whole thing out. You know, I do advise if you don't know what you're doing, and if you're gonna, treat it as a party game, don't do it.
So,
that's my opinion, anyway.
All right. And you know what I like? You said something before. When we were talking about those who have passed, you said, I feel, and then you said, no, I know.
I do. I've had my own personal proof. Everyone needs that personal proof. And until you've had that, then you can't say, I know.
Right.
I can, because I've had personal proof from my father, who was in the spirit world. I mean, what he came through a medium and said to me, there's just no way on earth anyone could have known that, you know?
Right. Children.
And since then, I mean, I was only young then. Since then, I've had lots and lots of proof. Lots.
Children always have invisible friends. I believe, and please tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong, that children have the ability to see, hear, and understand things that we as adults, well, most of us, except for yourself, have forgotten.
I totally agree with you. You are so right there. Children, especially preschool children, before they have all, things put in, like learning things in their heads, they are very open to it. They see spirit, they talk to spirit, and they have imaginary friends who are sometimes relatives or guides or even other spirit children.
One of our grandchildren was telling us, this is when he was just preschool, as you just said, about his invisible friends. Yeah. And of course, doing this show for the last 24 years, I and my wife never discouraged.
That's brilliant. That's really good.
You
get so many people to and say, "Oh, don't be silly, don't be stupid." Well, it's not. These children really see them.
I think when we look at the big picture, that when a child goes to school, we start them on a course of lying and mistrust and misbelief in the human race, because we teach them about a cow that jumps over a moon, a dish that runs away with a spoon. We teach them about this lady who flies on the back of a goose and goes everywhere. A lady lives in a pumpkin. Another lady with her kids live in a shoe. We teach them about Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Sandman. And the list goes on and on and on. And then what do we do when they're in about grade 3 or 4? We pull the rug from under their feet and say, no, that's all wrong. We lied to you.
It's just everything you've just said is everything I feel too.
Yeah. And then we wonder.
That's right, yeah.
And then we wonder.
I mean, you can say all that to a child and that's okay.
Sure.
You can say that the cow jumped over them and all that lot, but tell a child that you live on after death and that there's spirits, and oh no, that's not allowed.
So tell me, how does one maintain the ability to see and communicate with spirit, or how does one reacquaint themselves with that ability?
And through development. The thing is, I think development's open to everyone. I think everyone is capable of communicating with spirit and of having different gifts, such as psychic art, automatic writing.
Right.
All those different kinds of things. It's a case of finding the right place to develop and developing what is already within you.
Gotcha.
I mean, I developed within the Spiritualist Church movement, which is, to me, the best way. Because you've got mediums that have, qualified for years who can help you. And it's also free. You don't have to pay for it.
Because, plus, you're going to be with people who are there to help, like you said, and they believe and...
Well, you go into a development circle,
Right,
you see,
yes.
where you're with everyone else who's like you,
Yeah.
who wants to learn, and then you go into a development circle.
So,
I mean, it takes sometimes years, you know, but it's worth it in the end because you're fulfilling what you want to do.
do you do psychic readings as well?
When I'm asked, yes.
All right, so tell me, give me a fast psychic reading.
What? Oh, no, I have to see your face. I have to see you face to face.
Oh, yes.
I don't do phone readings.
You don't,
no.
eh? Do you have a message for me from the other side, or does that have to be done face to face as well?
I would have to see you face to face. That's the way I work.
Hey,
yeah.
I respect that. You know why I respect it? Because you're honest. You told me. You didn't make something up. You were honest with me.
No, I'm not going to do that. No, never.
Do you know how many people do that, though? I had this lady on the show a number of years ago, and she said, Rob, I'm getting a message for you from the other side. I said, really? What is it? She said, I'm getting a message from a lady who has blonde hair, blue eyes, and wait a minute, Rob, she's your sister. Mm-hmm. I said, really? And I said, what is the message? And she gave me this message, right? It was about a 2 or 3 minute little thing. And I said, well, I'd like to thank you very much for that reading, but I don't have a sister.
No. That's sister-in-law.
No. No, nothing.
Nothing.
And she hung up the phone very fast.
No,
But-
I have to be with the person. I have to see the face. You know, because I connect that way. Every medium's different. We all work differently. That's just my way of working.
And that's a way.
And I'm not going to turn on and say, you know, I can do that because over the phone, no, it doesn't work for me.
Now, I understand we lost a member of the medium community, Colin Fry.
Yeah.
That was last night. I had Jesse Bravo on, a good friend of Colin's.
Right.
And
I never met Colin.
no.
I heard a lot about him, but I never met him.
No, but a loss, and I'm sure that Colin is on the other side.
Absolutely, yeah.
And will be a great asset to those who believe.
Well, he's gone home to the Summerlands.
That's
so
right.
He'll be okay now.
The time has come for you and I to say so long, Christine. But before we do, what is your message to the X-Zone Nation tonight?
My message?
Yeah.
Keep searching, keep looking, keep finding out, and never, never, never give in.
I love it. Let us know how we can find out more about you and how our listeners can contact you for a face-to-face consultation.
Well, my website, obviously, www.christinehamlett.com, and all the details are on there, really.
It's that simple. Christine, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a great pleasure talking to you.
It's been lovely to talk to you.
And
really interesting and very enjoyable.
Well, I hope I have the pleasure of talking to you again in the future.
Me too.
Take care of yourself. Get some sleep now.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. X-Zone Nation, my guest this hour has been Christine Hamlett. Her website is www.christinehamlett.com. Now, I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour as we continue here in the X-Zone. I'm going to be replaying 2 interviews tonight. The one with Patricia Giffen Reese. Now, she's the one who told us that there were 7 to 8 foot Martians that are cannibalistic, that are eating people on this planet. And then her mentor or her associate, Ron Stone, whose name really isn't Ron Stone. We found all about him, but we're going to respect his privacy. We're not going to divulge the information we found. Who said that 300,000 people were sucked up by alien forces and that over 3,800 Russian troops landed in Denver, Colorado in 2012. Both of those claims were found out to be false. You have to listen to these two interviews. We received a number of requests, not only from listeners, but from affiliates. So we are going to play those 2 in their entirety in hour number 2 and hour number 3. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell, and this is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 8 p.m. Eastern until midnight, right here on the Starcom Radio Network and the X Zone Broadcast Network. We'll be back after the news with Patricia Ress and in hour number 3, Ron Stone. Don't go away.